One of my first cassettes from that Polygram record club where you ordered the cassettes out of the back of the magazine, you know? Remember, for a penny? He still owes the money. I was a little too tall for just a few pounds. Tight pants points were hard renowned. She was a black-haired beauty with big dark eyes, and points all around, sitting way up high. Way up burning night. Out past cornfields where the woods got heavy. Out in the back seat of my 60 Chevy. Working on mysteries without any clue. Working on the night moves. Trying to make some front page driving news. Working on the night moves. Yeah, it was summertime.
Oh, I'm cooking.
There you go.
What's up, guys? Try to get a shot of the drum kit this time.
Oh, I see it.
Isn't that
It's a work
beauty?
in progress. I don't think I've told you, Mike. I actually put a stealth rack on this.
Where's the stealth rack?
So can you see the curved pipes there?
Oh, yeah, now I see it. Yeah.
Yeah, it eliminates all the tripods.
It's you.
Yeah, so I can fit in a smaller club and still be able to bring all my stuff. Sorry, I got a lighting issue I need to work out.
Yeah, it's that. There's like the thing up in the corner there. Look at that.
I kind of like it. It's like a spotlight.
Yeah. But it's obstructing his view.
Oh.
How's it going, Pete?
Oh well, you know, trying to move forward with the show.
Yeah, we got guest host Chris Rhodes here.
Yo, thanks for
That's
having me,
much better.
guys.
That's better, Chris.
Is that better?
Rhodesy.
Okay. Yeah, so I got to see Dennis in action on Saturday night over at Sundance Saloon. And I got to tell you, man, Motor City Meltdown, that was some good stuff.
I thought he did the Bob Seger, or he does that too.
That's it.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah,
it?
so-
Okay.
Yeah, so basically it's all the stuff that comes out of Detroit. So it was like, you know, Mitch Ryder and the Detroit Wheels, Rare Earth, the Romantics. I didn't know they were from Detroit. Grand Funk. And then they dedicated the last, basically like 80% of the show was really the Bob Seger, but the early part was just kind of like a variety of songs. But they were great. Waylon on vocals doing the Bob Seger stuff, and then they had some guest other people doing. You had Rick Dempsey and Suzanne Cross singing some of that early stuff. Ted Nugent, Suzanne Cross did Hey Baby from Ted Nugent. I got to grab a clip of that.
Yeah, classic.
That was great. That was really cool.
Sorry,
but yeah,
I
the
missed
Bob Seger was, yeah, I know. I texted you. I wasn't sure, I know, but sometimes you get, sometimes you just don't get motivated to get out. I was already out and about. So I had an open weekend where I could go hit it. So I did it. So.
Yeah, I'm finding that some of these 9 o'clock shows are really a problem when it gets dark at 5 o'clock at night. Because you're sitting around and then you have dinner and then you're just kind of chilling, and the next thing you know, you're falling asleep on the couch.
Man, I'll tell you what, that is a huge motivator, man. You sit on the couch and you're waiting to go out. You got to kind of do it early.
Yeah.
I was lucky because I was already moving and shaken by that point in the night.
Say, while we're waiting, I want to make sure I missed Pino's birthday. Pino Farina.
No, Farina.
Happy birthday.
Yes, happy birthday, Mr. Pino Farina. I actually missed it too. I didn't even recognize, I mean, I don't know if I didn't scroll down far enough on Facebook. I missed
Look, if it pops up in my feed when I'm on,
you get the birthday wishes.
I get to click, and that's it while I'm doing my other stuff.
Hey, happy birthday, Jim Harte, as well.
Oh yeah, our
Oh.
buddy Jim. Yeah.
Okay.
And hey, don't we have a happy anniversary for you, Chris?
Yeah, today is 18 years.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
I guess you could say it's my golden anniversary. 18
no,
and
it's
18.
not. That's too
What is golden?
Well, it's November 18th, and it's our 18th. It's kind of like that sweet birthday party that they have if you're 25 and you were born on the 25th. Maybe people don't do that anymore. I don't know. I'm getting old.
Yeah. So, Chris, we got you on as a host.
Yeah.
You've been keeping an eye on things. Glad to have you.
No, thanks for having me.
Open invite. What have you seen on the shows? What's caught your fancy? What have you liked? What do we got to work on as we going forward?
The last 3 shows that I've watched, well, you had Pino, Jeff Anthony, and of course Jesus. Yeah, I'm telling you, man. All 3 of those guys. It's kind of like a man crush for me when you've got those guys on.
Yeah, you can't.
They're just all so awesome. There are no other words to describe, especially Jeff and Pino. You put them 2 together and they're just dangerous. And then you throw Dan Peters on top of that, and it's just like, wow.
Yeah. Well, plus we got Beth Miller booking everybody. Are we booked to like 2027? Mike,
I think we're out to February right now. So
okay,
and that, obviously that sounds like, wow, how'd you get all the way out there? But when you think about it, it's whatever, 1 a week. For a month. So, but it goes quick. People want to get on the show, and if they're interested, they can contact Beth Miller, or she'll contact you, and we'll get you in the queue and get you on. And it's good. It kind of exploded a little bit the last few weeks, which is good.
Well, it's not just the bands, but it's also the clubs, the bookers, everybody in between, on the scene, because it is a pretty close-knit group. Everybody knows, everybody in it.
Yeah, the one with Bonnie was great.
Oh, Bonnie, she's got to come on more too.
Yeah, she's great.
People want to hear from her more than they want to hear from me. So
that's from many of us. Yeah, right. Ain't that the truth?
God bless. Rhodes, you got anything coming up in the future we can promote while we're waiting for Dennis?
The only thing I've got coming up is the Coterie and next month, the Motown. I'm actually struggling to learn the songs because I can't stop from dancing while I'm listening to this stuff.
Wait, what kind of dance? Did I see this dance?
It's kind of like, you got to kind of swing a little bit. If I wasn't sitting down, I'd twirl around. But, that music is it's just so great. And, I'm fortunate enough to be part of that event. I can't wait. It's something I've been looking forward to for months now, it seems.
Yeah, we're filling out the the roster of songs, so it's slowly starting to come together, and we got some rehearsals coming up, and it's gonna be fun. If Chris Rhodes can keep those dance moves going, we're gonna be in good shape.
How many songs are on that list? Like 70?
Myself, I've been saying I think there should be more, but it's filling in now. And not to steal Mike D's thunder, but I will say that we've got some of the most high-powered vocalists in the Chicago area that are going to be partaking in this event, and man, I just can't wait to see it.
Yeah. It's gonna be fun. I'm looking forward to it. I think there's like 36 songs now or something like that are
something like that.
Yeah.
Well, they're 2-minute songs, so I thought there'd be like 70 or 80 in there.
I think we're going to be extending some of those.
Yeah.
Papa was a Rolling Stone, 8.5 minutes. I'm just throwing it out.
Yeah.
Stretcher.
That's
Grateful Dead version.
Yeah, we're gonna extend it and have a little Robert Jess key solo, a sax solo by Rob Calabro. So you can figure it out.
Yeah, I am trying to get Mike to play drums in that show, by the way.
I'm gonna do it. We're gonna do it. We'll see. Let's
Well,
get
if I'm going to bang on congas, you're going to bang on drums.
All right. Maybe I'll do My Girl.
I've
Dennis
got my girl
Costis.
and my guy.
Dennis, is that
Dennis,
Dennis
hello,
from the
hello.
green room?
Hold on.
How you doing, guys?
Good.
Good. How's it going, Dennis?
Good. All right.
Good. Trying to get
Leave some
myself
of the green M&Ms for me.
We all want the green M&Ms, right? Yeah.
Dennis Costis, welcome.
Thank you. Good to be here. Good to be with you guys again. Thank
Yeah.
you. Pete, how you doing?
Hey, still alive, baby. Still alive. Can't
Thank
believe
God for
in-
small
in the
favors, right?
In the other corner, I don't know where it is on your screen, but we have Chris Rhodes. So he is our guest host. Mike Dermott was not able to be on, so we got drummer friend Chris Rhodes here.
Hi, Chris.
joining us
Hey,
for the
Dennis, how are you?
podcast.
Excellent.
Doing good.
well,
Good.
we need more people that know the music scene than myself, so that's good. Mikey O, how do you know Dennis? How did he I hear some Bob Seger in the background. Is that true?
So yeah, I know Dennis Costis through, I think primarily through the Black Diamond sessions, but there's been a lot of friends that we have in common, and now being a part of some of the different versions of Soundtracks of a Generation. That's how I got to know Dennis and got to jam with him at his house. Even before I was involved in Soundtracks of a Generation, Dennis said, "Hey, we're gonna get Jay Martini, and we're gonna have Mike Kondranowitz on drums, and we're gonna." So all these people come together at Dennis's house on a Sunday afternoon, and we did the Allman Brothers live at the Fillmore.
I always grew up listening to the Allman Brothers and always was a big fan. And literally, that was recorded in '71, and literally every other March since then, I always have an Allman Brothers jam. So that one Mike's talking about was a great jam. Myself and the amazing Dave Steffen on guitar, and Jay Martini and Bill LeClaire keyboard, amazing guys. And Ira Sussman played bass that night. It was a fun jam.
Tell me all the bands you're in, Dennis. These guys know I don't know. I'm like in and out trying to pay attention to things here. I got Bob Seger, and I remember when was the last time you were on here, Dennis? Weren't you on here like a while ago?
I was, and I forgot what we were promoting then. It was
Yeah.
It was a few shows ago, but yeah.
Crap, if you don't remember, damn.
I forgot too.
Yeah, what were we promoting then? I think probably the Lennon show.
Yeah, okay.
The Lennon Project that we do with Jay Gepner.
Yeah.
And got that coming up soon. But I'm doing that. And our big show that we got coming up with Mike is the concert for George. That's coming up real soon. And I did a gig just this past weekend with the Motor City Meltdown, which is a Bob Seger tribute band. And I do a lot of the Soundtracks of Generation shows. So we did recently a Woodstock show, and I've done their Cocker show and their Irish Heartbeat Van Morrison tribute show. And the other show that right now that I'm really involved with is the Last Waltz, which is obviously, tribute to the band, the Last Waltz. And it's a pretty faithful recreation of that movie. Yeah. With a cast of thousands.
When is that one?
So this is a really cool gig.
All right.
We're doing it Saturday at the North Shore Performing Center for the Arts. We're doing it Sunday at the Arcada. And then we're doing it the following Sunday at the Des Plaines Theater. And the Stogue production has a cast of about 20, 21 people. The core band is the 5 guys of the band itself. And then we have a 4-piece horn section. So that's 9 guys. And then we bring on our guests. We bring on a guy that does Eric Clapton and Van Morrison and Neil Young and Joni Mitchell and blah, 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 all these other guests. And that's the way Soundtracks has done it for the last few years. And then this Saturday, we're doing the same kind of a thing, but we're the core band, and North Shore Performing Center for the Arts is bringing their guests in, which include Howard Levy and Nicholas Tremulis and Lily Hyatt, who's the daughter of John Hyatt, and Mud Morganfield, who's the son of Muddy Waters, who, was at the original Last Waltz with the band, and a bunch of other really great people. So it's going to be a really cool show. A really cool show. And that's this Saturday.
Yeah. It's in Skokie.
Yes, at the Skokie Performing Center for the Arts, which it's a pretty big place. It holds like 800, and we're pretty close to sold out.
Damn, you got 3 gigs. That's good eating right there. You got to pay those horns, man.
Yeah. Well, you got to pay the horn guys. You got to keep them around, right? But don't tell them I said that, please. Don't let anybody know that I said that.
We never did anything on the show.
Yeah, that's a pretty big cast of people. I mean, you got some big names on that one, but then you guys go out and you do it with the regular people who have done the Last Waltz here in for the Arcada Theater on Sunday, this coming Sunday, right? So that'd be the 24th. Correct. And then the following Sunday, which is December 1st, and that's going to be at Des Plaines Theater.
Correct. And like I mentioned, there's 5 guys in the core band that we are the band, bass, drums, a couple keys, and guitar. And I'll be playing guitar for that, obviously. And then the 4 horn guys. So that's what we call our core. And then we have all the other people coming in to play the guest spots. And, I'm humbled to be part of it because one person is better and more talented than the next. And the coolest thing is that they're all really cool people. Everybody's super talented, but super low key and just great people to be involved with a project like that,
So when I saw Motor City Meltdown on Saturday night at Sundance Saloon, that was the first time I'd seen that production, but that's all part of that Soundtracks of a Generation. The guy who does all the Bob Seger, his name is Waylon, and he is the guy that does the Dr. John in the Last Waltz, right? He's the Dr. John character.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. And so that should be interesting. I caught it last year around this time frame at Des Plaines Theater, and I'll be checking it out on December 1st. That's my plan, which is next Sunday, not this coming Sunday. Yeah. So looking forward to catching it again. It was a really great show. A lot of talent, a lot of people in and out on the stage coming up and doing their parts. And then, the next person comes up, just like it was from the movie. Very, very cool.
It is really cool. And the whole Last Waltz, the concept of that concert was that the band had been on the road 16 years straight. They spent on the road, and part of that by themselves, part of that backing up Ronnie Hawkins, part of that backing up Bob Dillon, and cutting albums when they could, and just busy. And they decided they were all burning out, and they needed to call it quits as a band. So they decided they were going to have a last big concert, and that was the Last Waltz. Martin Scorsese came and filmed it for the movie. And the cool thing about it was held on Thanksgiving Day at the Fillmore, and they sold, I want to say 5,000 tickets, and everybody that bought a ticket was invited to come for Thanksgiving dinner that was served at about 2 or 3 o'clock. And everybody came and ate, and then they said, everybody go wait outside. And they turned the place back into a concert venue, and everybody came back in and got treated to a concert. I think the original was something like 4 hours or 5 hours. They played well into the evening, Yeah, it was a cool thing.
Rhodesy, talk Levon Helm. How freaking hard is it to sing and do the drums like he did? You got an opinion on that?
Well, maybe Chris would be better at giving you that answer,
it's a
Rhodes,
breathing
Chris.
thing for us drummers, you know. And again, it varies from music type to music type. But I mean, you know, Don Henley is another one. You know, it's these guys just are amazing musicians, very talented, and it doesn't seem to bother them. Myself, on the other hand, I couldn't hold a tune if I tried. I'm just being honest.
No, I'm just saying that's for Levon. I mean, that hell of a voice, and I don't know how many songs he sang for the band, but
Quite a
that's
few.
Yeah, I was going to say maybe half.
And what do you think the best song is, Dennis? The Wait?
You know, that's the classic. That's the one that most people, that's their introduction to the band, is The Wait, right? You know, and Staples Singers recorded it, and everybody's recorded that tune. In fact, a really cool recording of that tune was done about, I think it was during COVID, and Robbie Robertson, who I play Robbie Robertson in the show, but Robbie Robertson put this together, and it's a fundraiser type of a thing, playing for change. It's world peace and all that, and they'll have somebody in all parts of the globe. They'll have 20 or 30 different people, and they're all, one person's on a beach and one person's on a mountaintop and another person's sitting in front of a fireplace, and then they mix it all together, and it's really cool. But if you get a chance, the Wait, playing for change, is really cool, you know. But there's so many good band tunes, and they kind of started what would be considered like Americana rock and roll. They took a little bit of, you know, folk country, added in some of the British influence that was coming around, and made their own unique sound, you know.
Yeah.
They were so unique and so cool as a band that Eric Clapton actually wanted to join the band, because Clapton was never comfortable as a solo artist. He wanted to be part of a band, so he asked to be part of the band, and they eventually turned him down. But he did a bunch of things with them, and he also makes a guest performance at the Last Waltz. Yes.
How crazy is that to turn down Eric Clapton? Like, we don't want you. Just go back to wherever it is you came from.
You know, you got to be humble no matter who you are, even if you're Eric Clapton, right? You know,
Right.
Yeah.
Where'd the band come from? Was that just
New York?
that back up? I mean, the band. Why was it called the band?
Mainly because they're a band that served. They did their own gigs, obviously, and they had a couple of different names that I can't remember right now. But they backed up Ronnie Hawkins, and then their big break came backing up Bob Dylan when Bob Dylan made his transition from acoustic to electric. And yeah, people just said, "Who are those guys?" They're the band, you know. There's Bob Dylan and the band, you know. So the name stuck, you know.
It was always like that easy.
Yeah, exactly.
Dillon took a lot of crap for doing that back then. He was, you know, the equivalent of woke back in the 60s, whatever that version is. You've had this political bullshit going on forever, but when he went from the acoustic to electric, he he got a lot of crap for that, didn't he?
Quite a bit, yeah, because he played to the folky crowd, you know. And now when he picked up an electric guitar, you remember, you know, back in the mid 60s, electric guitar, that was a symbol of revolution right there. You know, that was not like today, you know, everyone's got one in their closet, whether they know how to play it or not, you know. But back then, that was a revolutionary kind of a thing, an electric guitar, you know. That meant you were a rebel, whether you had short hair or long hair. Yeah. Yeah.
Why do you think he evolved to that? Was he low on funds?
You know, I don't think he was ever been low on funds, you know. Although some of those guys, they lead quite the lifestyle. You never know. Yeah.
Just trying new stuff, you know, experimenting.
Yeah. I think as an artist, you know, they're always trying to evolve. And especially at that time in the 60s, early 70s, the artists in general, they didn't want to be pigeonholed as doing one type of music, as doing, you know, acoustic or rock or jazz. They wanted to kind of find their own niche. And it's because those guys did that, a lot of different kind of influences came together into the wide variety of what is referred to as rock and roll. But there's a lot of stuff that comes under that umbrella,
Yeah, I think they started to write the book in that generation.
There you go.
We're on, even into the 70s, a lot of those guys, I think they're the reason why we play the stuff that we play today for the most part.
I agree with you.
And Woodstock was pretty cool for all them, right? They all played there, right? And got paid.
Yeah, the band played at Woodstock, but Dillon didn't, and a bunch of other bands.
What happened?
No,
money.
I think there was money involved, obviously, but some people kind of saw it as a problem waiting to happen, a disaster waiting to happen. That this many people are going to come together, and so that was a unique event. That was a unique event, and it was an event that, in retrospect, a lot of people say started a whole genre of music, but other people tell you kind of ended that whole summer of love and peace and love and all that kind of a thing. And I say this with all humility, but the same way that Eric Clapton wanted to be in the band, and the band was backing up Dillon, and they were all hanging out in LA with James Taylor and Jackson Browne and, all these various artists, either in the States, on the West Coast, on the East Coast, or in England. All these big names were collaborating and hanging out together. We've got kind of like a little microcosm of that in the Soundtracks family, which, and all the local musicians who play around, that everybody knows this person or that person, and we could all kind of do shows together and collaborate, but everybody has their own thing going on, and it's a fun thing. It keeps you on your toes, makes you play a lot, but it also keeps you humble too.
Yeah. Hey, maybe you can take us back and explain how you got involved with Soundtracks of a Generation, and what was your because it was all put together through Doug James. Am I correct on that?
Yes, Doug is the founder, and he runs everything in Soundtracks still to this day, and he does a phenomenal job of it too. He's got those guys that would juggle plates. They'd put the plate on the stick, and they'd have one going here and another one going here. Well, Doug's got about 15 of those going at any given moment, so he does a pretty good job of juggling, but got involved with them actually to fill in. It would have been like the 50th anniversary of Woodstock, to play guitar for that show, and then from that we morphed into a couple other things. Jay Martini had the idea to start a Pink Floyd tribute, and we did that for about 5 years with a band called Have a Cigar, and we used to play all the local stuff. And like I said, Soundtracks has probably maybe 30 or 40 really good musicians and really cool people that, some people play this show and some people play that show, and then we can kind of always pick and choose, which is why to cut to our project that Mike and I are involved with, the Concert for George, is a really cool thing. The other night we were having a rehearsal, and we had 12 people in that room, and it dawned on me that with those 12 people, there's probably representing maybe 40 or 50 bands that are playing out regular, that everybody's got a finger in a couple of different things, and to bring everybody, all those really cool players and all really humble players, to do the Concert for George, that's a cool thing too.
It's very cool. How do you determine which band or which show, or is it the venues ask you, do the Lennon show, do the Woodstock thing? How do you guys figure out what show you're going to do?
Once the projects become established, like the Lennon Project, it's a 6-piece band headed up by Jay Gepner, who's maybe the greatest Lennon singer on the planet. He's done Lennon in like 22 different countries, and he was just on stage with Rick Nielsen from Cheap Trick the other night. He's been everywhere and done a lot of singing, but at the same time, he's a really cool guy, And so we do a retrospective through Lennon. So that's a smaller band. other things like the Last Waltz, you got 20 people. It's more of a review, so to speak, where you have a core and then you're bringing on guest singers and guest guitar players and whatnot. The Last Waltz usually books around November because that's when the original Last Waltz was held.
Yeah, makes sense.
The Lennon show usually books beginning of December because that's when John passed away, so sometimes there's that, that tie in. The Woodstock show we usually do middle of August because that's when the original Woodstock was held. So, things kind of go along with that, a couple other great shows that Soundtracks features Derek Procell, who, if you haven't heard Derek, you got to pick up his latest CD, Hello Mojo. Really good stuff. And he heads up the Van Morrison show and he heads up the Cocker show. And an amazing talent to have here in Chicago, So that's how those things kind of book,
Yeah, and Doug James primarily is targeting theaters. So it's going to be the Lyric in Blue Island, or Des Plaines, or Arcada, Skokie, the Beverly Center for the Arts, or something like that. So he's usually doing that because he's trying to be able to accommodate 15 people or whatever the number of people on the project is. So I think that's how he kind of looks at it. And we've already got stuff booked for next year. And we already got the Woodstocks booked, and I believe the Concert for George is also booked.
Yeah, booked for a year from now, Interesting thing happened a while ago. We started a thing called the 70s FM. And it was a band that played the hits from the 70s. But the stereotypical scenario when you go to see a band, or let's forget go to see a band. Let's say you're listening to the radio, and Doug's history is that he was in radio. He was a DJ in radio, okay? But when you would listen to the radio, you would have a live DJ, and the live DJ would say something about the next song that he was going to play, and then he would play a record, canned music, right? So you would have a live DJ introducing recorded music. So we took the 70s show, and that was a great show. We did a bunch of the big hits, Springsteen and Allman Brothers and stuff like that, all the 70s stuff. But we did it backwards. So what we did was and again, it worked in the theater really well because we had an interview with a DJ. It was recorded. It wasn't live. It was a recorded interview with a DJ who then would announce, and now we're going to play this tune by, let's say, Bruce Springsteen. And boom, the lights would come up and the band was on stage and we'd kick into Born to Run, or the next tune is the Allman Brothers Band. And we'd be on stage, boom, and we'd kick into that. So it was the opposite of the stereotypical kind of a radio. But it worked really great in theaters because people were there to watch a show, and having that DJ up on the big screen was a really cool thing to see, and you could hear it really well. And having the band was phenomenal. It wasn't that good a thing to do in a bar because people are talking and drinking and having a good old time, and they're not paying attention to.
Yeah, they don't care.
Yeah, exactly. So towards that, after that, we kind of focused more on the theater kind of things, So a lot of these are shows. They're meant to be, 2-hour sets with an intermission, and they work out really well. We've had pretty good success with them.
And you got all the audio visual on every one of them, even on the Motor City Meltdown. Bobby's got that screen at Sundance, and on the back screen, when they were doing, the Romantics or Ted Nugent or Mitch Ryder or Bob Seger, the song would be up there as well as a picture while whatever they were doing Come to Papa. Come to Papa's in the corner, and there's a picture of Seger from maybe that era. And so it's really cool. It's really very visual when you're watching it, and you're in a theater and you're on that, you see that big screen behind you at Des Plaines or Arcada or Skokie. It's really cool to have all that stuff kind of in sync together. It's really makes the show what it, unique, and not just your band playing with, some lights and, whatever. It makes it a real experience.
people approach live music differently too. All of us as musicians, we go to see a band and we're watching the band, and we're watching the drummers kick his foot on the kick drum, things like that. We're watching little minutia like that. But a lot of people that go see bands, they don't really know so much about the musicianship as opposed to, is it a fun time or is it not a fun time? So especially for them, those visuals really help out a lot. I think they appreciate it. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm gonna mention this and you can elaborate a little bit on it, Dennis. We're gonna go back to Pete. Was about a month ago. You had the opportunity to play at the Cubby Bear with your son.
Who's got it better than us? But who's got it better than us?
This is a really important song to me. Murray asked me for 4 songs 15 days ago that we want to play, and I randomly threw these out. But there's an awesome set list on the pillar towards the bar over there. You can actually see a set list from when Foo Fighters played here, and this is one of the songs they played.
I used to work at Cubby Bear back in the day, so I like to come back and, pay respects. And we did a show that Ed Murabante put together. He's done a lot in the city, for a while with showcases and whatnot. We did a show, and I had a great time playing a tune with my kid on the stage. That's something that I'll never ever forget, and I'm glad that I did it. You can't put a price tag on that.
So now we come full circle.
Yeah.
So proud papa moment for you, proud papa moment for Dennis. Dennis,
What?
tell us about a couple of the players that we have with the Concert for George.
So a couple of the players that are in the band are, number one, my son Chris, who's playing guitar. And so that's going to be really cool having Chris play guitar for that. And number two, my son Al, who plays bass. And Al, it's going to be great having both of them playing. Al lays down a pretty solid bass line so that we could all build up on top of it, and it's really cool, Pete, as you can appreciate, there's nothing cooler than playing music with your kids, and I would be remiss in not mentioning that the last couple of times we did Concert for George, my daughter Pamela did vocals with us and did lead vocals on one tune, and my wife was singing backups too. So it's the whole family got involved on that one, But with this band, it's really cool having the boys in the band. And I'll tell you a really cool story to get back to that too. I'm much older than 50 years old, but for my 50th birthday party, my wife threw a surprise party for me at a local club. And I walked in, and on the stage, jamming when I walked in were Mike Kondratowicz, who's playing drums for this Concert for George show, and Jay Martini, who's playing keys for this show. Mike was on drums and Jay was on keys. And my son Al was playing bass. And my son Chris was playing guitar. And my daughter was doing lead vocals. And so I was invited to join them up on stage, obviously. Mike Kondratowicz, I know from fourth grade. And we've been playing in bands since probably sixth grade. Jay Martini, I know from like when we were 15 years old, and we've been playing in bands since then. We always joke that we've been playing in bands since before we could grow hair on our face.
We got Jay coming up on the show, don't we, Mikey O?
We do. And I think we mentioned it at the beginning of the show before Dennis popped on, but since we have Beth Miller, we give a shout out to her. Since we have her helping with the booking, it's just been cranking along. It's like I just kind of stepped back. I told her, I said, well, if someone gets in touch with me, I'll get them in touch with you and you book them. So, and musicians out there, if you get a call or a text from Beth, she's keeping that calendar full. So
we might have to get a second shift.
One a week is really getting filled quickly. I think just in general, the music scene in Chicago is, there's so much going on. I mean, on any given night, you could take a look at any, whatever. I don't even know where people go to find stuff anymore. Websites, I guess, or Facebook or social media. But you could look and see there's at least 10 really interesting things. You got to make a decision, right? You can't go to it all, whether, especially in the summer when you have festivals and stuff like that. But there's a lot of great things going on in the Chicago. And
I think it's really key to keep the music business growing for the kids, because the younger generations, they like podcasts. They that's where they get their news. And Dennis, I don't know what the crowds are like that come in, but I know it's got to make you kind of happy to see somebody under 50 coming in and saying, hey, that's pretty, it's a future customer.
That's the truth. And the reality is that music's a universal language and doesn't know the restrictions of age or sex or race or religion, anything like that, and it's great when people just enjoy it together, right? That's a beautiful thing. That's why I think why we're all doing it, to see the smiles on people's faces, and it's a great thing as musicians. The other night we were having a rehearsal, and Mike Orfanos over there, Bongo Mike, he was doing nothing more than shaking a tambourine. And I looked over at him and he looked at me, and we just said, we communicated spiritually saying, we're having a hell of a good time doing this. And we both started laughing, right, Mike?
That is correct. I play the Ray Cooper, so I'm not going to shave my head, but I'm doing the Ray Cooper, and if you watch what he does in the concert for George, he does a lot of there's a lot of tambourine, a lot of headed tambourine, shakers. He got some congas, but it isn't like the Woodstock where whatever 3 or 4 songs in, and I'm Rhodesy knows.
Yeah.
I'm cranking on the congas for the Santana stuff. This isn't that kind of a show, it's a little different, which is good because it makes me, I believe, a better player because I have to adjust the way I play. I can't just get out there and start, cranking on the congas. I'm doing tambourine, and Dennis said to me, he goes, it doesn't seem like much, but it's a very important part of the song.
Yeah.
Mikey, can you give me like the 3 steps to learning the tambourine in case somebody throws it to me? I got to go on stage.
Just tap, there's a little shake, stuff like that.
Is it tap, shake, tap, or shake, tap? Like, what's the?
Yeah, it's just
you have to
I
wiggle.
could go get my tambourine and show you. Chris could show us. Chris has a tambourine somewhere in that basement. I know it.
How about cowbell? How critical is cowbell, Dennis?
It depends on the tune. Sometimes it's absolutely critical. Sometimes it's the worst possible thing that could ever happen.
Unless you're playing Blue Oyster Cult.
There's some iconic, cowbell songs. Like Mississippi Queen, or
Let's do it right now. Let's do some clickbait right now. Top 5 cowbell songs. Go.
Don't Fear the Reaper.
Yeah. That's number 1. It's got to be number 1. Saturday Night Live just did that.
We're an American Band.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Keep going. Come on, boys. Can you give me 5?
Mississippi Queen.
That's 3.
Queen 3.
Help me out, guys. Help me out.
The ending to Beginning by Chicago.
At all costs.
Yeah, right at the end. Or you could even go to certain parts like Stuck in the Middle. There's an iconic part there in the breakdown and Stuck in the Middle where there's a cowbell. So, there's always anything from Santana has a cowbell. Remember?
Right.
Well, I think people are definitely going to want to know what this one now. But I'll just say, Don't Fear the Reaper, Honky Tonk Women, Mississippi Queen, Police on My Back. I Can't Get No Satisfaction. There you go. Drop the mic.
There you go.
Good job.
Walk off.
I forgot about Honky Tonk Women,
Honky
the iconic intro to that song. And, hey, wait, I got another one.
Go.
Glow Rider from War.
Oh, yeah.
It starts the song.
Is there a way to hold it, Mikey O or Rhodesy? Or is it, left, right, left? Like, is it just how you feel?
Chris, go ahead, answer.
Well, are you right-handed or left-handed?
Doesn't matter. So you're
well, it does in the sense that you want to have control of the stick. So if you are right-handed and you're whacking this thing with your left-hand stick, you're probably not going to have as much control as you would say as a beginner with your dominant hand.
Another very important thing about cowbell, and this is very overlooked. Most people don't realize this, okay? And it doesn't really apply to guitar players because usually we're standing up. But guys who normally sit down on stage, drummers or keyboard players, people like that, one thing you never do with the cowbell is put it sitting down on your stool before you sit down on that stool. Because then if you sit down, you might forget that cowbell was sitting there and you will have a rude awakening.
Cymbal in one hand, cowbell in the other with the little donger inside. Is it possible to do both? Just want to know. Inquiring minds. We're looking for clicks here. No, can't do it.
No,
I don't think so.
Okay.
I do have a funny cowbell story though. This is years ago.
Go.
I was playing with a band called Take Two, and we did Love Shack, and that was a big cowbell song for me. And I was holding the cowbell, cranking on the cowbell, and inadvertently cranked on the cowbell very hard, but hit my thumb. And I was in pain. I wasn't crying, but I do remember making a face, and I'm sure it made it look like I was like really into it. Like I was really hitting that cowbell, and I was just in so much pain. I had bruised like my nail on my hand, on my thumb, but I hit it so hard.
There's probably a howl in the playback.
Question on the triangle.
I got two.
Okay. What should we know about the triangle?
It's
Well, do you hold it like this, or you got to make sure you don't touch any part of it? It's
you could mute it, so you can get a little action off of it,
Any songs come to mind that you would think about?
Beginning of YYZ, is that a triangle, Chris?
It might be. Actually, I don't know. Neil had all kinds of glockenspiels and all kinds of things. Who knows?
Yeah.
Let's see. Sympathy for the Devil, Sound of Silence, Good Vibrations, Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, and Take 5, Dave Brubeck.
So those were the ones that came up?
Those are the ones that came up.
Lucy in the Sky, huh?
Just saying.
Huh.
Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, it's there.
Yeah. People clicking all over that. All right, good.
I never guessed that.
The things you didn't know about triangles.
Yeah.
Well, hold on. Top 5 tambourine songs.
Twist and Shout.
You think? Doesn't matter. I'm looking it up.
Dennis, any clue?
Got to Hide Your Love Away, Beatles, but it's not a shaker. It's just a boom, boom, real straightforward,
Hey, you got to hide your love away.
Yeah.
Ooh,
My Green Tambourine.
I thought Kristen.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
All right, here you go. Respect, No Scrubs, Rhiannon, The Wait, Come On Eileen.
Come on, Eileen. Great tune. Great tune.
The Wait for sure. And what was the other one? Was the third one?
The third one was Rhiannon, Fleetwood Mac.
Rhiannon. Yeah.
I don't know what No Scrubs is, TLC. Don't know it. Dexy's Midnight Runner. So they do any other song besides that? Is that the greatest one-hit wonder of all time, or am I ignorant?
Yeah, they showed up in their overalls on MTV and then they disappeared just as quickly.
Yeah.
The Pogues. That's an interesting band.
Yeah, the Scott Body of an American.
And the Yanks, they were within. And the Tinker boys, they hissed advice, but were with a pen. When we turned and shook, as we had a look in a room where the dead man lay. So big Jim Dwyer made his last trip to the shores where his fathers lay. 15 minutes later, we had our first taste of whiskey. There was uncles giving lectures on ancient Irish history. The men all started telling jokes and the women, they got frisky. By 5 o'clock in the evening, every bastard there was pesky. Pretty well gone away, there's nothing left to say. Farewell to New York City boys, to Boston and PA. He took them out with a well on clout, and I often heard him say, I'm a free-born man of the USA. He fought the champ in Pittsburgh and he slushed him to the ground. He took on Tiny Tartanella and it only went one round. He never had no time for rights for drink or dice or horde. But he never threw a fight when the fight was right, so they sent him to the war. Pretty well gone away, there's nothing left to say. West Launch and Joe and Aaron Gomer loves in America. The calling of the rosary, Spanish wine from far away. I'm a free-born man, love the USA. Yeah! goodbye to you. I remember how I swore that I'd come back to you one day, and as the sunset came to meet the evening on a hill, I told you I'd always love you, I always did, I always will. Fairly well gone away, there's nothing left to say, but to say adieu to your eyes as blue as the water in the bay, to big Jim Dwyer, a man of war who was often heard to say, I'm a free-born man of the USA, I'm a free-born man of the USA, I'm a free-born man of the USA.
Have you seen those guys? I never have. Like in the mid '80s, you got that lead singer. His teeth are definitely Irish. And
Is that Shane McGowan?
Yeah,
Yeah. So I saw them at the Fla Fest back when Duchessois owned Arlington, and he didn't have racing that year, so he decided he was going to do some concerts, and one of them was this Fla Fest, which primarily featured a lot of Irish bands. I saw Sinead O'Connor at that. I saw the Chieftains. And anyway, on one of the small stages was Shane McGowan doing a bunch of those Pogue songs. And I got to tell you, he was extremely drunk. And I think that was his thing. He would get like rip wasted on stage. I mean, he could barely mouth the words to the songs. Luckily, I didn't know much of it, so I didn't recognize, other than he was very sloppy.
Well, you got to see him and his teeth or whatever was in there. So boys, as we're wrapping up, what are the shows that are coming up? We'll start with you, Dennis, and we'll work our way around.
This Saturday, the 23rd, is Last Waltz at the North Shore Performing Center in Skokie. Sunday, the 24th, at the Arcada. December 1st, at the Des Plaines. And the 29th, the day after Thanksgiving, is the concert for George at the Arcada. And that's going to be a really good show. So please come on out and check that one out.
Yeah,
and then the week after that is the 8th. I'm playing with the Lennon Project, and we're going to be at the Arcada for that one as well. And that's going to be a really good show. Killer band on that one. Yeah. And that's really what I got coming up now. I got a few coming up after the first of the year. I do a lot of gigs with Class of 68 too. They're a great band, party band, you know.
Oh, you got to wear those outfits, dude.
Yes.
It's winter.
Yes. But it's kind of cool though, because it was like, you don't have to worry about what you're going to wear on stage. You're just going to wear your uniform. So it's good. It's good.
No decisions. They have to be made.
It's good.
It's already pre-planned.
Chris Rhodes,
get your tickets now for the concert for George. I hear the tickets are going fast. So.
They are going actually pretty quick, but in the concert for George, it's going to be a really good show because no one else is doing anything like Concert for George. Mm-hmm. And the musicianship on stage for that show, it's just amazing. The really cool thing, sorry, I'm going to plug this one more time.
Go ahead.
The really cool thing about George Harrison's music in general is when you listen to it, it sounds pretty simple and straightforward. And overall, it is simple and straightforward. But so many of the parts are so intricate, and there's a little, tambourine here or a little keyboard bit right there that it just makes the tune. It's a minor, little, seemingly insignificant thing, but it's so essential. There you go. There you go. Pete, anytime you learn that sitar, we're going to have you come out and jam with us, okay?
That'll look like a ukulele to me.
Yeah, it's a big ukulele.
Chris Rhodes, you get enough time to figure out where you're going to be playing?
Yeah, so basically January 19th at Sundance, we have the Coterie Motown.
Boom.
That's going to be great. Like I said, I'll do that dance again for you guys, because the hardest thing about learning this material is you just want to dance when you hear it.
Yeah.
I mean, it is hard not to shake your rump. That's for sure.
Mike,
give me a call.
Give you a call. Mikey, you're going to be part of the January show, right? What else you got? You just had
January 19th at Sundance Saloon for the Coterie. But this weekend coming up at Sundance Saloon with the Mosquitoes, and we're opening for a national touring band, Sneezy. And if you haven't had a chance to check them out, they are really excellent.
They're great.
Younger guys, but play very funky type music. It's mostly original, but they'll sprinkle in some covers in there, and just a good fun band. So we're excited to be
like a fish type band, or what are they like?
No, I would think they're probably more like
hard to describe. I mean, they're pretty universal. I guess it's a little bit of everything in their set.
That's what I call myself, universal.
Yeah, a little bit of I would say just maybe a touch of soul, a little bit of funk, a little bit of rock, a little bit of everything. A really talented bunch of guys. I mean, like I said, they're out touring nationally. You look at where they play, and you'll be out in like North Carolina. They're out in Florida. They're playing these festivals. So I mean, they're a touring band. So it's it's going to be a lot of fun on Saturday night, and we're at 7 p.m. They're at about 9:30 p.m.
Oh, 7 p.m. rocks.
George, I'll be with Dennis and the other 14 musicians recreating a very, very cool concert. So I'm really looking forward to that. And that rounds out my month. Pretty light on the December for me, which is good. Just kind of a time to regroup. We'll be, doing new stuff, learning new songs, stuff like that.
Yeah, it's the holidays.
We got the holidays, Turkey Day coming up. Yeah,
all that stuff.
All good stuff. All good stuff.
Well, Dennis, Chris Rhodes, Mikey thank you for another episode of the Hot Pod Podcast.
We'll get you videos and pictures.
Send it, whatever you got, we'll put them up.
We'll get them in there.
I don't know if they'll go in the right spot, but we'll get them in there.
Very good.
It'll be up there.
That's right. I'm universal. All right, boys.